Hey guys, I kick this off with a disclaimer. Commentary is not complaint. I'm going to make some comments now in response to someone who wrote to me with a constructive suggestion about how I should change my content on YouTube. It's understandable. Different people perceive me in different ways. On a really deep level, I do think my approach to this art form, to YouTube, my approach to what I do on the microphone, it is influenced by rap music, by hip-hop. One of the elements of hip-hop, one of its few redeeming characteristics, I guess, is that people very strongly feel in the culture that when you come on the microphone, it has to reflect what's going on in your life right now. And, you know, that's an issue. It's a limitation to the art form also. Some rappers say, look, I can't make rap music about being poor anymore because I'm not poor. You know, yeah, I know my fans still really love my songs I recorded 20 years ago about being poor and hopeless and hating my parents and hating my teachers at school, but that's not my life anymore. Now I'm wealthy and whatever, and my music has to reflect what's going on in my life. So there's a push and pull between audience and artist that way. A lot of the time, the audience wants to hear the artist still rap about, still perform a set of sentiments, a set of concerns that were very vivid and real for that artist when the artist was 16 years old. But when the artist gets to 26 or 36, that's not what their life is about anymore. That's not their perspective, and it's not real. Now, you know, as simple as it sounds, I would never come on this microphone and pretend to be happy when I'm not happy. And, like, in a sense, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different genre from what I do. I think if you're a bartender, every day you got to go to work and stand behind the bar and pour someone a glass of beer and pretend to be happy when you're not happy. Back when I worked at Starbucks, I had to go to Starbucks every day and pretend to be happy. You know what I mean? To some extent. you gotta put on a smiling face. If you're a dental hygienist, whatever, there are all those jobs. But what I'm doing here is not phony in that way. I am going to give it to you raw. I'm going to keep it real. And, like, for me, it's inconceivable. It does not even occur to me, neither when I'm working alone with the camera, nor when I talk to people over Skype and do, you know, interviews or conversations with people. It is inconceivable to me that I would come on and say, wow, you know, Vancouver, British Columbia just has the most supportive and wonderful vegan community, and my experience with my fellow vegans on the west coast of Canada was just fabulous, and you people are the best, and I love you. It does not enter my mind as a possibility. You know what I mean? All the time, whether I'm talking alone in a monologue or in dialogue with other people, to say I keep it real is like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I met vegans face to face when I was living in Canada, and it's all bad news. It's like, and I got no hope. And I am not looking forward to cooperating with any of them. They're all hopeless. And, you know, I mean, the flip side of that is when I say I have hope for someone else, when I say, like, hey, you know what? Vegan Gains, he's a little bit kooky, but I actually have hope I can cooperate with him in the future and get something done, then it means something, right? I'm not saying, hey, everyone's fabulous, I can work with everybody. Mod Vegan. If you hear the whole podcast I did with Mod Vegan also a little bit eccentric. A little bit. But I got hope. And, you know, sure, I'm positive about Mod Vegan. I think we can make something really great happen in Canada in the future, sometime in the next 5 years. I have no clue. Sure. You know, there are specific people where I say, hey, I'm hopeful, I've got optimism, we can get organized, we can make something happen. But it does not even enter into my mind as a possibility to be as phony as you would be going to work as a bartender or as a waitress in a coffee restaurant or that kind of thing. It's a very spare art form, what we do here on YouTube. You know what I mean? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I feel like honesty is the only currency we've got. And if I'm not keeping it 100, what's the point, man? So I'm going to read this constructive suggestion I got from Katie Kaufman on YouTube. It's a public YouTube comment, so stated below one of my videos. Katie Kaufman says, quote, on many levels, I can appreciate your mindset and the approach you take, as you say, to move toward a vegan world. Close quote. That is actually what Vegan Mojo says. It's not really my phrase. Vegan Mojo is really the guy who talks about moving towards a vegan world. And end of digression. I continue. Quote, however, I simply cannot keep wading through each video's constant pessimism to get to your intended message. It is not helpful that this is the way you criticize the vegan movement. Try to offer more on your opinions in a less, not this sense. Close quote. So yeah, I'm not mad, I'm not angry. She's looking at it from a very different perspective, which is fine. I'm guessing she doesn't listen to rap music. Or she may just listen to a very different genre within rap music. Let's be generous here. She doesn't listen to DMX. She doesn't listen to Little B, whatever. Oh, is my camera going to stay out of focus? All right, cool. So here's my reply. I said, you're wrong. It is helpful, and it is real. These videos reflect what's going on in my life and what's going on in the movement as it is known to me. Just pause. Even if you're talking about Victoria, BC, Vancouver, BC, you're talking about one part of Canada. Maybe there's really positive stuff happening there. I don't have any contact with it. I don't know about it. I talk to other vegans who are still in university. Some of them have pretty positive situations on their university campus, where there's a vegan group, they're having some vegan events, some vegan activism that's really positive. Okay, that's not my experience. My experience on my campus with my campus group was very, very, very negative. Jordan, if you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. I could say some things about my experience with vegan activism on my university campus. So I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to come on here and talk about an imaginary political movement that doesn't exist in the real world. I'm going to give it to you raw. I'm going to talk about what I know and what I experience and how I feel and my current outlook. And yeah, that does include some optimism. It's not all pessimism. But it never enters my mind to be fake on this stuff. Okay, but anyway, I continue here. So I've got to be honest about what's going on in the movement as it is known to me. Important caveat. I'm literally in court with another vegan who defamed me, threatened to beat me up, etc., because I dared to criticize his diet book and his claims to having cured incurable diseases. Okay, pause. So you know what I'm talking about there. Claim to cure schizophrenia, claim to cure Crohn's disease, etc., from a certain well-known guy named Durian Ryder I'm in court with. There have been other people who've what do you want to say, attacked me, denounced me, by pointing out that what I'm doing in this situation is taking another vegan to court instead of taking me to court. How do you think I feel about it? How do you think that makes me feel about the movement? I'm a human being too. Don't talk about me like I don't have a heart. Yeah, I would much rather be in court with, the cartoonish owner of a, meatpacking corporation or something. Sure, that's better. I'd rather be fighting the good fight to advance veganism, being in court with, some caricature of the evil meatpacking industry that we're all morally opposed to, right? I didn't have that choice. I didn't have that option. I didn't choose this. I also feel bad about that, and that's reflected in exactly this kind of context, right? If I read a book that I agreed with, or even that I respected enough to disagree with respectfully, that's what you hear on my channel. That's not the situation for me, and that's not the situation for veganism as I know it. The videos are bleak because my life is bleak. And your opinion isn't even worth $1 to me because you never joined Patreon, you cheap sack of shit. I was having some fun there. But the point I'm making here is basically, I'm not pretending either way. I'm not pretending to be disappointed. I'm not pretending to be pissed off. I'm not pretending to be angry. But I'm also not going to pretend to be delighted with the state of the movement when this is the state of the movement as I know it. If your problem is, as Katie complains, that you can't wade through the pessimism of what I'm saying in these videos, then all I got to say is, my videos are not for you. because I know that my videos give a lot of hope and courage to people who are dealing with the same frustrations, with the same obstacles, who are struggling against the same pessimism, to try to make something positive happen, despite all of the terrible, unforgivable problems and insanity that's within the vegan movement today. And if you want to be on some other channel that's going to pretend that, everything is hunky-dory, that everything's going great in the movement when it's not, there are already a lot of channels doing that. So that's it. For better and for worse, I'm the guy who's going to give it to you raw.